Good morning. I'm higher vibrations, and so are you. And holy cow, we're having all kinds of stuff going on right now. It is officially the 1212 portal. I know those of us in the Northern Hemisphere forget that starts at an earlier time. So those in the Southern Hemisphere are already understanding that that's where they're at and feeling that. As a result, I don't know if you guys have noticed the tech has been crazy today, and my guest hasn't been able to come so far. She may be coming. I don't know. Um, Anyhow, here we are, and so I'm just gonna just do a regular live Q&A kind of concept, and if I do have my guest come on, then we'll talk about that. Um, so anyway, let's do a check-in. There's a lot of energy happening. Okay, so we know that today's um, uh, the eve of the 1212 portal, though really it is the 1212 portal. um, there is some other energetic stuff that's occurring during so we have the Venus opposing Mars on tomorrow on the 1212 portal. So we have that divine masculine, divine feminine tug of love, right? And so that pull back and forth. My daughter just made a Venus video, and we need to put that up for her on her YouTube channel. Um, Venus is Aphrodite. It's known as this divine feminine, this love energy, right? Also, what's really interesting is Eros has just kind of ventured into our experience only a couple of days ago. So we're having a lot of different stuff pushing in this love direction. However, coming through right now in this 1212 window, uh tech tech is going offline. I don't know about any other place. I did go on Facebook, and I noticed Facebook is acting all kinds of squirrely. I've been responding to people's comments, and it doesn't work. And then posting says it didn't post, and then it was there. So that kind of stuff. I know that a few other people have messaged me on Telegram saying that they're not able to get things working right now. And so just so you know, that's kind of happening for a lot of people across the board. On top of that, so tech isn't that big of a deal, right? It's just kind of one of those things that we're used to. It's convenience having those things happening. However, I can say this. So how many hours ago was that? About 3 hours ago, maybe a little earlier than that, I started to feel this funky energy coming in, man. This funky energy. And it felt kind of like projections, energy, when people project, um, when they're upset with you or something like that, only it wasn't. You know what I mean? Um, there's this, my right foot, for no reason, the sole of my foot, it feels like it's bruised, like I landed on something from a distance, from a height. And I know I didn't do anything like that. I've been as well as sleep has been weird, man. I have I've changed all the way around. I was being a quite the night owl, and now I'm not. Like, I'm waking up relatively early and going to bed rather early. And this has just been the past 2 days, which, I'm grateful for it. However, the sleep has been really bizarre. It's been a very strange experience in the sleep world. Getting a lot of different kind of different activations than what we normally get. I know that we have a lot coming in from a multitude of directions, not just in a galactic sense. The world stage is kind of breaking down in a lot of different ways, and that's good. It's just when that occurs, it doesn't feel all that cozy, right? And so when that's happening, just there's a lot more that's going on galactically speaking. However, what's useful to know is truly grounding is what will help the most at this time. And it kind of is one of those things where we say it so often that we feel like, yeah, dude, I'm doing that, kind of thing. But We need it more than we have been utilizing it. There's a lot of different ways to ground. I know that it's a colder climate right now, at least for a lot of people. Not everybody's feeling the cold, like depending on where you live. However, in this colder climate place, you can still ground by earthing. Earthing is a tool that I've been doing for quite some time. That was the first thing that I was like, hey, dude, I figured that out on my own. And now all of a sudden, science is saying, hey, we discovered this brand new thing. It's not a new thing. That's how our bodies have been designed for a purpose. So the soles of our feet have the largest pores than any other part of your body. The next one in order is the palms of your hands. And so walking barefoot, standing barefoot, putting your bare feet in the soil, in the grass, sand, natural water, this really does help. However, in a colder climate setting, what I started to do was I would bring soil into the house. I'm a gardener, and like I was called the crazy garden lady by a lot of people for a while there before they started started asking me questions. Anyway, so I'd bring the soil in the house and play with that. You can do the same thing with your hands, is what I'm trying to get at. That's how I first discovered it. Is if you about 5 minutes a day with your feet, and you don't have to dig your feet deeply into the soil. Just put it on the surface, let it get between your toes, kind of thing. And about 10 minutes a day with your hands. Now, this is different for everyone. Not everyone needs it daily. Well, when I first started to utilize it, I figured it out that I was about a 6-day. I needed to do about every 6 days, because the 7th day I started to feel what I was using this for was a solution to seasonal depression. And it solved it. I no longer have seasonal depression as a result of utilizing this. This is another means of grounding. However, spiritually speaking, this is doing for us is it's an ionization process. So we get all of these free radicals, all these extra. The air is ionized by all of the solar activity that we're getting. Remembering, we're so used to only X-class flares mattering, but we just got a bunch of really pretty big size M-class flares. And many of us will feel it before it's supposed to be felt, supposedly, right? And we're already feeling it. And so as these are coming in, then it ionizes the air and ionizes us. So when your body is full of positively charged ions, this is that static sound, like the ant races on the TV, or the in-between stations on the radio. That sound and how that sound feels is what your soul energetic field feels like, and when you have too many positively charged ions. So what we do is this ionization process, putting your feet in the soil, your hands in the soil. The soil gladly accepts these positively charged ions and leaves behind negatively charged ones. That's when we feel that spiritual sensation, right? So allowing yourself to do that's one of the things. I know a lot of people, especially in the spiritual community, I'm surprised to hear how many people don't meditate that often any longer. Meditating right now is actually something that's really highly encouraged by spirit for me. And, practical, or the common uses of meditation isn't what we're talking about even. It's taking that moment to just be in rest, in quiet, in yourself. You don't have to go on adventures, the meditations that I post every week for free in my Telegram group do take us on adventures. And that is something that I do weekly. I'd be doing something like that anyway, you know what I mean? And so if it's free, I don't charge for our Telegram group. I know a lot of people are feeling the desire to find their soul tribe. The Vibe Tribe is here, man, and it's free. If you're interested in that, the link for our Telegram group is in the description of this video. I think that somebody said they're having difficulty with it right now. And I kind of wonder if that has something to do with this tech stuff. That is one of the most common things that you hear about in Mercury retrograde, which we're in until Sunday. We're still in the Mercury retrograde phase. And so a lot of times people will experience tech glitching. The other really common one that you hear about is people reaching out and connecting with their exes or people that they aren't in alignment with anymore. So if that's you, you don't have to do that. Anyway, um, pardon me. So, along with this meditation practice, just taking that rest that you need. We're in conflict right now with ourselves because we're also in Mars retrograde, and so we have this tug of war. We are having a battle, an internal battle going on inside of us that where both things are wanting to be done at the same time. So, anyway, I just want to grab some comments over here. We have AG, hello, you are first. Hello, Mila and everyone. Hope everyone is having a good day. Trisha's here. Good to see you. Trisha's here. So happy to be on here right now. Good to see you so much. And then we have this. Was I first? Nope. You were almost first, though. You were almost first. Trisha, LOL. I didn't think so, but it's a blank comment on my side. Yes, there's the tech again, man. It's really weird. There you are. Yeah, I'm here. I was waiting for my guest. She still may come. And if you're out there in the audience, I hope that you join us. If you don't, that's okay. No pressure. I do really enjoy having a variety of different guests on the show. And if that's you, if you're interested in coming on and having a place for you to speak your truth, and I love this opportunity that I can give to people to you know, have a place to share their voice, So if you are interested, please send me either an email or a Telegram message. And I'm very interested in finding new guests. I do really enjoy having people on that are my friends too. Like next week is going to be Guardian, and the pre solstice is going to be Guardian. And I had Elsa on Monday. It's really cool. I really like having my buddies come on with me. But I really do. I am interested. So if anyone does want to come on, please let me know. Rose Matter. Hello, y'all. Good to see you, Rose. Astra's here. Hello, sweetie. Love infinitum. All my tech is wacky too. Okay, cool. Yeah, I figured because I had a couple of messages in Telegram from people who usually connect with me on Facebook, and apparently the messaging stuff isn't working on Facebook. Like I did an experiment. I tried to send a message to Elsa, and it said sending for like an hour. So it's okay. I'm still able to go live. That's what matters, right? It's really weird though, huh? Marriott. Oh my, so much dizziness. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the dizziness. I've been feeling that a lot too. Some serious dizziness, like really intense. Not that felt like I was gonna fall over, but it did feel like swirly whirly, right? Um, Along with that, the appetite stuff's been really bizarre, really bizarre. Like, um, I don't typically eat breakfast. I'm one of those people that does the intermediate fast intermittent. There we go. There's the word. See, that's another one. That's another symptom I've been noticing the past little bit is this vocabulary or tongue tying stuff. Um, Intermittent fasting means that I just don't eat breakfast and usually don't eat lunch as well. However, I've actually been wanting breakfast lately, and breakfast is a word that people use to describe a time of day when it actually means you're breaking your fast. So just to be clear, what I'm talking about is I usually don't eat for, 6 or 7 or 8 or however many hours after I've woken up. And the past 2 days, I've only been awake for like 4 hours and I already want to eat something, So I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with the cold that we're starting to get. It's very strange being so far south. My body still and mind are confused by it. I'm used to right now shoveling snow, and it's 49 degrees right now. And so that's not something that I'm used to. It's pretty relatively warm. However, it does feel like early fall, and so that's when you start to like put on more calories, right? Anyway, the dizziness, the slight disorientation. Dizziness, I would again combine that with um, like a slight vertigo and just disorientation, almost like you're not sure where gravity is. You know what I mean? Along with this too, we're noticing a lot of skin activation. Skin is what I'm talking about with that. Yeah, there's the rashes and the irritation stuff that's coming from the purging that we have a lot of stuff purging through the pores of our body. So where you sweat, a lot of things are being purged through there, as well as through the mucus expulsion and frequent bathroom trips and so on. However, what I'm talking about also regarding the skin is the tickly wickly. Some people call it, it feels like electricity. You're feeling energy on your skin, like you feel like a spirit is touching you. Um, it's a really light, soft sensation. Some people might think it feels kind of creepy crawly. This has become more and more common. Just over the past little while, a lot of crown chakra activation stuff going on, as well as headaches. I should mention the headaches before I go on to more questions, is that the headaches have been a thing. So Spirit talked about this activation that we're having. Our crown chakra activation is got to do also with the pineal gland of the third eye. So you'll, if you notice the direction, that activation's happening right now, as well as a variety of chakras that are all around. It looks kind of like um, oh, I have a little prop over there, but it's too far to reach, and I just don't want to like go walk over there and like leave you guys hanging. Anyway, it looks kind of like one of those like headbands of like, or a crown of flowers kind of thing, where you have all these chakras, and all of these chakras are activating, coming online in a way that they've not done for some time. So this is something that everyone seems to be noticing in the symptoms of headaches or different kinds of weird pressure. Remember, we had a really big activation November 14, 15, 16, all the way through November 30th. Really, there was a series of things that had been occurring and are still having kind of this grounding and recalibration effect for us. And so a lot of stuff is shifting and changing. And what Spirit tells me is that all things in Spirit are meant to be gradual. Otherwise, they wouldn't be very long lasting. What they actually say is for longevity purposes. I just try to word it in a more normal language. So anyway, yes, thank you so much for bringing up the dizziness. Saying hello to each other. Hello, Colleen. Good afternoon, Mila. Great to see you again. Sending hugs and love. I'm sending it right back to you, Colleen. Thank you so much for raising your hand and saying that you're here. Yay, a new video from your daughter. I just love her videos. Thank you. She does so good with all of it, the art and everything. Thank you. Yeah, she's just recently started to use animation technology. And so that's what she's been doing the past little while. Oh no, I just see that. Okay, so she doesn't have the link. I emailed you the link yesterday. Hey, it's 222. I emailed you the link yesterday, or it was the day before. I'll forward that back to you, dude. Okay. If you want to come, you don't have to. Let's see. Okay. Oh, maybe I didn't. I didn't send her the link. I am so sorry. Okay. Well, let me do it right now. Let me add her. And then I'll keep talking until she comes on. If I can grab it. There we go. Okay. I'm going to email that to you right now, girlfriend. And please join if you are interested still. There we go. I see, there's some tech stuff. I had copied and pasted it. I was sure of it. So anyway, let's go back to, whoops, where's my comments? Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. My Achilles and heels have been hurting so bad lately. Yeah, dude, this whole thing, this whole lower leg and foot thing has been a conversation from a lot of people lately. A lot of people have been talking about this. Um, it's been a thing, so um, uh, uh, this is part of grounding. This is part of what us purging as well. So it really does help if we kind of like allow ourselves to connect more to the soil. To Epsom salt baths really do help if you can't bathe. Foot soaks, just get a bucket that's big enough for your feet to be in, and just some Epsom salt in there. That really does help. Other kind of minerals as well. And remembering the mineral intake, specifically meaning salt. What I'll do is I'll add a little bit of salt to the water, and then I'll drink a little bit of that before I drink other water, right? But some people will just put it underneath their tongue and then take a drink of water. So I mean, this really does help. And when I'm talking about with salt, I very clearly am not speaking of whatever, iodized. I can't remember how they word it anymore. I haven't bought in so long. Table salt. This isn't going to help you very much. Oh, she's here. Okay. Let's see.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Why is it not working? There you go. Hello, welcome. I'm so glad you were able to join.
It's time is this time. And technology.
Dude. Yeah, and I was sure I guess I sent you a different link. I looked at that email afterward and I'm like, oh, I sent her my PayPal instead.
It's so funny because I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta show it. So it's not
Welcome.
Me. It's me too. I was like, oh, I better comb my hair. That's funny.
How are you today?
Fine. I'm here.
Good. I'm glad you're able to join. That was my bad. That was me on my end. So
it's Mercury. It's Mercury. I can blame it all on Mercury. It's Mercury.
Yeah. Well, I just really went back. I'm like, I'm sure I did. And in the email, I sent you a different link. It wasn't even the link I meant to send you. So anyway. So I just kind of wanted to give a little background really quick for the audience. So Cherokee here is somebody I've been connecting with for a little while. She and I have some really great conversations regarding the topic specifically of being mothers to awakened children and being around others who don't really know exactly what to do in these situations. And we, in our conversation had this, realization it might be a good idea to have this conversation in a public way to kind of help people, because it is uncharted territory for most people. They don't really know what to do, so is there anything in particular you would like to start this conversation out with? You seem to have a lot of really awesome experience.
I know. I'm like, I have a lot going. I got. Okay, so you have a session coming up with my older, the one that he's not awake yet. The little one, he's awakened. He came in like, no, what's up? The other one, he's been jacking around and he's been a high vibe all this time and doesn't know it, but we know it's about to happen. He has a session coming up with you this weekend, and I think that he's gonna be a chatty Cathy because when he finds some like a topic he likes to talk about, he'll talk. And I know that you'll be able to answer questions that he has on a different level.
Awesome.
Because he's going through this. So it's like, as starseeds, we don't necessarily fit into this or that or the ways of thinking, or this seems silly. You're like, that seems ridiculous. Why are you doing that? He's going to have all these questions. And I know that you'll be able to link up and tell him he'll just be on a totally different trajectory as far as, his thought pattern. I'm like, dude, you're fine. Your thought process is way bigger than you know. So that's why the mundane things seem silly, because deep down you know they are.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, the
Well, I look
little one,
forward to that.
he already knows what's up.
Yeah. And how old is your little one for,
6.
right?
He's 6 and nonverbal. So Starcy's like, Maddie, talk for him. I think it's hilarious because she says, Mary told you about the blanket. And she popped out. She was like, the energies are a little crazy. Well, Yoshi was in the store and he's in the stroller with his top down. And I
Yeah.
was thinking about her. I was like, that's exactly what he would say
Yeah.
if
The
he had
energies
the
are
words.
things out there.
In the stroller, I was just thinking, I was like, Maddie is your voice.
Yeah. I find that it's more common than not, or it has been. I think also this is in the middle of shifting, where a lot of the awakened children are, at least at first in the earlier stages of their life, nonverbal,
Mm.
and I wonder why that is. Do you have any insight on that at all?
I think they probably, I think they fried their meat suit. Their
Yeah,
vibe is so high that it's like, okay, they have so many other things going on that actually a verbalization is totally not on board right now. Like, that's the least of the things that I'm thinking about right now. I
yeah,
think their frequency is so high that the actual, like, just like when spirit, when they talk to you, it's just like, okay, would you rather read a book or just get it just like that in the first couple of lines?
mm,
That's how I explained it to my, the family members. Like, he doesn't communicate in a giant book. He'll communicate with me with one option. Like, just like if you say Christmas, you could think of everything that are associated with Christmas. But if he can get the concept in one word of just Christmas, why go through the whole? So I think that in
yeah,
time, I have no doubt that he'll talk because I know he has like a plethora of things going on. It's just
yeah,
a matter of, do I need to right now? You get it. So why tap with everybody? I'm like, okay, but you have to communicate with everybody else. But I don't. That's my only thing I can think about is the because his vibration is so high and he's doing so many other things that I
mm,
think that the actual word, like verbal language, is not top priority right now in his existence. That's
right.
my take. I don't know about everybody, but
I
that's
like
what I
that.
think.
I feel like that's true. Like, um, at one point they wanted to diagnose Maddie with Einstein syndrome because she didn't want to talk.
She's like,
Like, she babbled and stuff, and when she needed to communicate, she would, you
mm-hmm.
know, but just for the most part, she was too busy with sacred geometry and
Exactly. Especially,
like the stuff that she could come up with.
you're like,
Like, she's building rockets. She's busy.
she doesn't have time for chit chat. No
Yeah.
time for chit chat. Got
Yeah.
things to do.
Yeah. And that
So
that
with
kind
that,
of brings
thank
me
you.
sorry.
Go ahead.
That brings
That.
me to the next kind of really big thing here is that I find that a lot of because we are then if we put the children into we try to label them. It's one thing their diagnosis because that's like how
Mm-hmm.
services or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about specifically um, an identity associated with this label and that how that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really serve us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what's more is that when a label is given, a lot of times then parents will often decide that they need to
Mm-hmm.
correct their child constantly
Mm-hmm.
and fit them into a mold
Mm-hmm.
versus what we do. And then what we've
Mm-hmm.
talked about is they're more of like teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
That's
want
just like the older ones, the older starseeds that are being diagnosed with autism. They've been autistic their whole lives. It's not like they just got autistic, but being that, in a way, I'm kind of glad because they weren't labeled so young and those stipulations and stigma things weren't placed on them. So they achieve way more than than they would have if they would have gotten that label, That's how I felt. Like there are so many adults being diagnosed with autism,
Yeah.
but it's because how much they accomplish without the diagnosis. I'm like, if they were diagnosed early, then maybe they wouldn't even accomplish so many things. Like my older boy, he does racing, he's done football, he's graduated with a business degree, like he's done so many things. But I'm like, if you were labeled that way when you were in kindergarten, you would have they would have treated you totally different,
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of glad. Now I kind of feel like autism label is a freedom pass.
Yeah, a bit.
It's your freedom pass. So like, especially the ones that are like aware of what's going on, because kids that are mainstream, they have to follow the rules. You can have recess. You can only play when you want to play. You can use the bathroom when we say you can. We can eat when you. Okay, well, the other kids, you get a break. You get to do this. You get to play. You get to eat. You get to do these things. So I'm like, okay, so that may be a freedom pass. Being diagnosed, as long as they're not treated differently, especially at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Sorry, I was just distracted by the time I
No.
was posting it. It's 234, or it was a second ago.
Wow, that's good. I like these numbers.
I do
I've been
too.
getting a lot.
Synchronicities.
I've been getting 44 a lot. 44, 44, 44,
I
44.
have two.
The fours are coming through big time.
When you said that, there were 44 people watching, by the way.
See? 44.
Yeah, it's up to
44. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's really funny. I totally agree with you. In fact, went earlier on when they were really trying to diagnose Maddie with Einstein syndrome. They doctor people that we then stopped going to. Were pushing really hard to get me to agree to have us on some type of
Right.
program to like kind of track her because she was the first Einstein syndrome child who had not been put into preschool, daycare, or public school in early age. She never, as far as unless she decides she wants to, my guidance, she's homeschooled. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm not going to stand in her way if that's something that she doesn't want to do any longer. However, as a result of these earlier experiences, because there's a misunderstanding regarding a person with specific, my experience is this Einstein syndrome stuff. They typically get kind of cornered into believing that they have a lot more limitation than they actually do. And then they absorb that belief system and take that on themselves and feel like they can't accomplish regular tasks. The reason they call it Einstein syndrome was that's what Einstein was thought to have. And then later on, what did Einstein do?
Exactly. That's just like when he was at school and I dropped him off because he always has his tablet. And when I dropped him off and he's playing a song in my playlist, his favorite song is School. And they were like, oh, well, he's always watching what we put him. Like, yeah, but it's on my playlist. Do you realize how brilliant that is for him to search, put in the search bar what he wants to go in the room and come back out.
He had to type those words in.
Meanwhile, people think that he's less. I'm like, he's brilliant. If he can type in what he wants, he goes and comes back and puts in the search bar what he wants because it's not going to just randomly show up in my feed. Mila might show up, but not Cartoon Money Song.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, see, you guys are just like, these labels are just, that's why I can see the change in the education system, because it doesn't serve us anymore. It's like so many things need to change within the system of education, because these kids are like, I think I was listening to I think it was a channel book of like the Pleiadians, not the Pleiadians, it was the Maria, it was the Maria, and they were talking about how the kids and their like the education system back then, how they taught and everything. I'm like, that's pretty much where we're going back to. It's because the way the kids learn they learn based on what they want to know. Like they decide as a group like how the education should go.
Yeah.
Something like that makes way more sense. Like what's good for the community or what's good for the tribe. Like it's not just this is the structure and you have to do this and have to do that. And like, can you imagine like if my skill is so good on this, I'd rather you like see what I'm good at and make that bigger, make it greater. Not just learn this fact. You're like, but I'm not good at that fact. That's not what I want to learn. You're like, I got a D in that class. You're like, well, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And then just encouraging that, allowing them to kind of steer. Yeah, there's some things as a parent that, don't break that.
Right. Right.
You know,
Exactly.
there's certain things that there are limits that we as
Right.
parents, um, though I really do feel like, and I love this comment, I'm going to say it from Cara. She says, I was born nonverbal as a kid. I just wanted to speak telepathically. My sons mainly talk telepathically. And there was a
Perfect.
further
Yes.
comment about that too.
That's how Yoshi speaks too. A lot of different is telepathic.
Exactly.
Wow, that's awesome. Yes, that's so true. That's
Yeah.
so true. Yeah.
And all of us, I feel like you have this. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
that person. I think it's because I was a behavioralist for so long. I was in social work. That was my career, is that I still have this thing where it's like, use your words. And
Right.
I'm like, and I have that thing like she knows I know what she's like, you feel my heart, you know what I'm saying. And I'm like, just say
Right.
it though, use your words. And it's I think a teaching thing because I do also see that she can benefit from being able to communicate with other
Mm-hmm.
people by using her words.
Mm-hmm.
Where a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people aren't like me.
Right.
I'm there's people who she in her will and does interact with that don't use telepathy even though they have it available to them,
Mm-hmm.
but
That's what I tell him when I drop him off at school. I'm like, you have to tell them what you want. You have to communicate with everybody else. Just get through your day, and when you get home, you can relax, and we'll do what we do. I would tell him. I know he understands, even though he doesn't speak back to me. I know he understands, and I use my words on to tell him in the car on the way there, like, do this, do that. I tell him talk to people in the class or communicate with everybody in your school, like so they understand what you want and what you need. I said everybody doesn't understand, so I think that he's also calmed down a lot. I think it's also too with your heart because of the heart activations and things. But the picture I sent to you
yeah.
with the light coming off him. I was in a class, and I was in a light class. There was I call it light class. It was sound bowl healing class. So my light was shining, but of course they were at school taking this picture, and of course it made his light activate bigger because I was activating too. So I'm
That's
like, I love entanglement because he's so happy, it's shining his light so bright. I was like, you guys have no clue what you just captured. You captured his light. That
yeah,
was so awesome. I love
that's
it.
awesome. Yeah, it was really an awesome photograph and being able to capture that,
Right. It's like you guys
the
have no clue.
rainbow.
This is my new favorite picture. This is my new favorite picture. And he's just like so happy with the arms out and all this light coming out. I was like, this is my new favorite picture of him. And people think it's just a artifact in the camera.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I saw through that though. You can really tell it's something high
Yes.
frequency occurring. Um, so I guess the biggest as a parent of a what do you call starseed crystalline child? I don't know. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of different words. Again, we go back to the label thing again.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that the biggest difficulty is providing that social element,
Mhm.
meaning, uh, finding and bringing forward other children that are actual peers rather
Mhm.
than simply individuals who are the same age.
Right.
People we can get like we do in our group Zoom meetings. We did have those Zoom meetings for younger people for a little while
Right.
during the summer season, but
Pa.
uh, what is yeah? Look at the puppy.
She's always around.
What is
I
some
know. I was thinking
things?
about them, like the little groups called little gritters. I think we should do like little gritters tribe group, like the grit workers, little gritters,
Little critters.
little gritters. I didn't want them to like hang out and do things and travel, but as they walking around, of course, they're gritting. So I was
Yeah,
like, they can be called little gritters.
I like that.
Because you're
That's
right, they do need their own like tribe to hang out with, just like us. So
yeah,
it's understandable. That's why I was like, oh yeah, I like many friends. I want her friends to like get more people her age. How old is she now? 10, right? 10.
yeah. 10.
Yeah. See, so her group two needs to grow, so she can hang out with more kids her age, because
Yeah,
they are the next generation. They are the future.
they really are. They're the little
Yeah.
masters, the
Mhm.
little guardians of the planet. Really, you
Mhm.
know. And giving them a voice is part of it. They seem to be able to, and whether or not they're verbal, and I'm not talking about that kind of voice,
Right.
to be heard is becoming easier. It's
Mhm.
different though to listen and to hear. Those are two
Mhm.
different things,
Mhm.
right? And they are little ascended masters that have come to do not just grid work, like you said. That's really important though. They do all kinds of things. Like my daughter has brought forward um, a variety of galactics that I would never have interacted with, interdimensionals that I would never have interacted with. I don't think, if it weren't for her presence, as well as um, different formats of meditation. Like I'm
Mhm.
sure your son does this too. If you just observe him, you know, and allow yourself to follow the lead of the child, you'll
Mhm.
find they're teaching you.
Mhm. It's even showed me like certain props in the car. I was like, "What is that? You sound like a dragon." Because he was in the backseat going, "Ah." And I was copying him, and then I realized what he was doing. I was like, "He's teaching me how I need to breathing." I was like, "Oh, he is so cool." I was like, "Oh, thank you, Yoshi. Thank you, thank you."
Dragon breath.
Yeah, exactly. Because at first I was like, "What is that? How do we do it?" And then I was copying him. I was like, "Oh, he's showing me what to do." I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay, you. Oh my gosh, you're so right." There and a lot of kids have been coming through to me. Like even in my dreams, I'm like, certain people have the they're like kids are like sending me things, and I'm like, okay, I got it. So I got like a. Remember we were talking about Claire? We were like trying to figure out which Claire was. I got a Claire drop about the steward of the
Claire
frequencies,
drop. I love that so much.
and I was like, a steward of the frequency. What does that mean? And so many kids were coming through as far as like would like to tell their parents what to do and not to be afraid, and like some other kid, other one of my, like, she's in my family, and I was supposed to contact her mother, and let her know that if she says anything off the wall, let her be. Don't shut her down. Just I'll agree with her, because yes, she probably is connected. So it's like certain things they're coming to me. I'm like, oh wait, kids, it's not. Wait a
Yeah.
minute. Wait. You're like, wait a minute, not ready yet. I gotta get back in the zone. But yeah, they're coming through, and they're coming through with a vengeance. Like, okay, let our parents know this, let our parents know that. Don't like so we don't like stifle them, or like tell them don't say that or don't be like that. And there's like so many people that even people that you thought would never have a kid. Look at that kid, he's never gonna get. The kids are coming up, and you're like, I can see that look on your eye, kid. You're another high frequency. Get in line. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're coming through in droves. So it's like we have to be ready. And I was like, I think that's where, like, especially like my age group, my snooze button star seats, their friends is kind of like, okay, get up. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
wait.
Pushing the snooze on the awakening. Yep.
You're like, not yet, not yet. But after that might can't go back moment, it's like all right, fine. It's like
Yeah.
a trajectory, but it's like you said, pre-waiver to get ready for this new wave of kids and young adults that are coming up. We
Yeah.
have to get ready and be able to like send them to friend, like even you. I know you. I'm like, I like her, so I'm gonna send to you. And a lot of these kids that are coming up, they don't have the extra crazy amounts of money to
Right.
to find people.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a good thing.
There's been an occasion where we've had children come, younger people come to our group Zoom meetings, and that's been kind of cool. But for the most
Really?
part, you're right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think they really always know what we're doing and talking about,
Right.
and but they're just so cute. I do like
Mm-hmm.
it when it does happen.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, like you can't.
There's something I wanted to bring up because this is
Mm-hmm.
as a parent of a star seed or whatever you want to call her. Um, she's awesome. Is if I give her a label I call that's what it is. She's awesome. Anyway, is around the time that she was about 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime that somebody new came into our lives, like adults is what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like people that were kind of, not in the awakened world.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that they would notice, and then they would like be really like it was like intervention style, like you got to stop doing that, is to allow her to have what people call imagination,
Mm-hmm.
to stifle that. She's too old for that. At 6, she was too old for that. They were trying to tell me, and I've always have felt that was like I was so against that concept.
Mm-hmm.
That bothered me in fact, that was my like litmus test, or
Right.
that was like, okay, that person doesn't need to be in our lives. I don't want to be
Right.
mean about it. Just, I'm not going to be answering the calls anymore,
Right.
or calling them. But is that uh I later on discovered that when a person begins to lose their imagination,
Mm-hmm.
that's when they no longer score high on IQ tests.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a whole
Oh,
thing.
I don't
Like
think.
they've done these different research studies, and um, as the child loses their imagination, then that's when they previously scored as geniuses
Mm-hmm.
on IQ test, then all of a sudden they were below average or average.
That
When they
makes sense because you're turning off. You're limiting your own perception. So when you can imagine, you can still see everything. What we call imagination is actually being open to other realms, right?
Mhm.
Higher levels of consciousness, and your brilliancy is way bigger than just our mind.
Yeah,
So when you turn all of that off, imagination, of course your IQ is going to go down because you're not accessing all these other thought forms that you had. So
yeah.
that's what I get out of it. That's what makes sense. And I'm like, that makes total sense. So now you're not brilliant anymore. You shut yourself down. So that makes total sense.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And what do we use when we meditate? Like a lot of the things that when we visualize something is another word for meditation, or for
Mm-hmm.
imagination rather.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we feel and understand it as something different, it's very much. imagination, when you visualize, when you allow yourself, your creative world to come in,
Mm-hmm.
then you're creating. And, she calls it manifestary instead of like she has what some people would call imaginary friends,
Mm-hmm.
but and she calls them manifestary. And sure enough, these manifestary friends can change the environment. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're real. They're real somehow. Like, and when we've taught children to quash that or to stop having these friends,
Right.
I remember having them, and I didn't know. In fact, it wasn't until my grandfather died that I found out my imaginary friends were actually souls who had passed. I didn't know I was seeing dead people, quote unquote.
Right.
I thought they were, and I was told
That's
that they weren't real. So I was like, okay, well. So then it was more secretive. I learned that I had to hide and
wow.
pretend that I wasn't having these communications. But yeah, so who's to say who they are and aren't?
Right. I love it. Like, I love the fact that so many of the literal star cities are born to us.
Yeah.
So we're not telling them to stop. We're not telling them to be quiet. They're
Yeah.
not going through the hardness that we had to go through. It's like I can totally see my son up there negotiating his contract with me, going, "I'll come down there with her," but she had to go through all that stuff, and she has to be. She's going through those bills. When I come in, all that stuff will be done, and I'm not having all those bills. I was like, I can totally see him in the negotiating room. It was so contract. Like, I don't agree to none of that stuff. I'll go down, but the fine print. I'm like, really? I totally can see it.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful that we have them. They're like, I tell them every night. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for being here with me. I tell them every night, thank you for being here with me. Oh, thank you for being. I'm so grateful that he's so aware. I know it's like, will you hurry up, lady, and get to my low? I was like, I'm coming. But I know he's way more awakened than I am, as far as like he's more conscious and of other things, other realms. I think that he still has that on him. Like he still understands more, way more than I do. But it's okay because I'm getting there. But I can totally see that he has my back.
Yeah.
Paula too. She came in. She's
Yep.
my viber
Yeah.
because she just came in as a puppy. But I'm like, okay. Clearly, it's like all the trio. Oh wow, look, we're a trio, Paula. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
They're our little guardians, and the fur babies have been having a lot of interesting activations lately. Fur babies are, some people call them pets. Just doesn't feel like that really works to
yeah,
describe
exactly.
it.
Yes, my
So
pet.
I'm looking for a better word or phrase than fur baby, but that's the closest thing I can come to being okay with. And even like the wild ones, the ones that don't live in our homes, I've been noticing the
Mm,
animals have been really acting differently lately, skittish and needy.
mm-hmm.
And like where I live in a tiny little town. Um, and it's, in the middle of pretty much nowhere, which I really like.
Right.
However, there is a lot of wildlife that comes around, and then there's like the stray dogs, and but there's also like, you know, critters. There's an armadillo who's been coming around. There's a skunk that's been coming around. These are friends of mine. Like there's I love the skunk. I've had a skunk every place I've ever lived. Even when I lived in the city, I had a skunk. They just come around. They like me, and I like them because they never spray me, and they're nice. And what's funny is the skunks that I've had, you think that they're really, by the way, they're really good guard dogs. Like they can sense if your energy's all funky, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't want funky energy around me. So,
Right.
and when these individuals come, You think that the skunk would spray them, but instead they'll chase them growling, like lunging at them. You know, and it's like
Warning, I'm a skunk.
yeah, if you see that, if you show up to somebody's house unwanted, knowing you're not supposed to be there, and a skunk starts to growl and leap at you, you
Yeah,
probably would
that
take
would
off,
be
right?
right. That would be me go, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they made that kind of noise.
What was that?
I didn't even know they could growl.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. I really did.
Like, what is that?
Yeah. But I just to bring up the fact that these individuals, these beings, are also really having some serious ascension symptoms right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're more needy, and they just kind of want, and they feel. I think it's that there's a big we are having a big shift in the energy right now. We
Mm-hmm.
crossed over to another side. We're more like the foot's up and walk, and you're not even haven't put your foot down yet. We're like stepping over the threshold into the new world. So we're in that instability place.
And because she woke up the spot in the room. I was like, where are you, Barbara? And she was in the corner. So I was like, oh, that totally makes sense because she's never laid in the corner of where she was. And I said, where is she? But that makes sense because she's going through all this energy. She's probably like, what is all this going on? And plus me too, because I woke up in a different spot on my bed backwards.
Hmm.
And I woke up going, where did I go? Where did I
Yeah.
go? So I'm like, she probably picked up like, what's going on here? There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I've been traveling too lately. Because I woke up in a total opposite way in the bed. I'm like, I didn't go to the restroom and come back and lay down opposite. I didn't move. I didn't think I moved. But I woke up with my head where my feet would go in the bed. So I was like, okay, so I think that was like last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, like last week. Yeah. I'm ready for retrograde to be over.
Yeah. I think everybody's been asked. That's been a question people have been asking me. When is this going to be over? And it's like,
Right.
well, I mean, over what part are you talking about specifically? Because we're in transition.
Right.
We're adding Lego upon Lego to create a structure at this point. And 90 to 95% of our DNA has been in dormancy. And it's not an overnight affair to turn all of that dormant DNA back on, and goes this circles back to our topic here, is that following these little guys, and they're not all little.
Mm-hmm.
So as I've noticed, uh there's a distinct line in 2012,
Mm-hmm.
though there's definitely some children, crystalline children, who were born before then. Officially, people could be a crystalline child who were born in the late 60s. So I'm not saying that. However, something more happened when 2012 occurred. Even though the Mayan calendar truly expired on June 20th, 2020, not 2012. That was because we have changed our calendar so many times on purpose to confuse everybody.
Mm-hmm.
However, something did happen anyway, and children who were born at 2012 and every year since have been born more and more upgraded, and this is accepted by like everyday science now, because we used to be taught that 90 to 95% of our DNA was junk. Remember that junk DNA?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then 2012 happened, and these babies were being born with this dormant DNA that was called junk.
Right.
That wasn't dormant. It was
Right.
online.
On. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so every year since, the younger they are, the more is already turned on. And therefore, this is also what's happening for us. That's not therefore, and also, this is also what's happening for us as adults who are already here. It's harder. And so there's ascension symptoms associated with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why it's like I noticed like okay, the more you have to do, the worse your symptoms are. Like great, so you're like, and I can tell too when other like when everybody at the collective's going through and transmuting, like getting rid of because I am affected. My bathroom breaks are like ridiculous. Poor little Yoshi using bathroom like crazy diaper. He still wears diapers and that goes. He's going through the restroom like every 5 minutes. We're like, I was like, I'm transmuting like crazy. I'm like, are we done yet? Are we done yet?
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a while. But
Using the violet flame does help, but it's going to keep happening anyway. Like,
mhm,
it does help though.
right, I've been checking your channel with the violet flame, the one the Guardian made.
Yeah, I posted that, by the way, for those in the audience.
Mhm,
Um, I posted that in the community section of the YouTube
mhm,
channel.
mhm,
And it's a video that Guardian and I were both on. Guardian was the one doing the meditation. I was just holding space and bringing the energy, participation of the meditation. Anyway, you can find that in the community section. It's a really amazing
mhm,
violet flame uh, Saint Germain meditation,
mhm,
and its
mhm,
transmutation is really powerful.
mhm. Definitely,
That does
I
help.
love listening to those. They're
Yeah,
so like you said, they're very powerful.
yeah,
Very, very powerful. It's like I don't know. I can't wait to win the lottery so I can send it to you and Courtney. Because you
yeah.
guys are like, oh, you deserve so much more than even you like ask. You don't, you never, you're so humble. You never say, oh, give me $10 million for this session. You're like, but oh, I love it. I love it. But you're like so useful, so needed, and so necessary, and like so. I just, oh, I just love you.
Oh, thank you. I love you too. I really do.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, I mean, my goal here isn't to like um buy mansions, you know what I mean? Like you see some people like that are doing sessions with people and they're like I have found it's kind of interesting though. So I dropped the price from an amount to another, a smaller amount so people could afford it more people could heal. And it's
Mhm.
funny, it became thought that it was not as worth, or it doesn't have, it
Oh,
didn't have as much worth. It's really an
oh.
intriguing way that the world works, but
Mm-hmm.
it's okay.
You're right. That happens because people are like, oh, I like those shoes because they're red on the bottom. Some pay thousands of dollars. I'm like, but your feet are gonna hurt. So like, what's like,
Yeah,
what is
yeah,
the
I'm that
point of
person
those?
that I got this for 5 cents. Woohoo!
Right, right.
I'm that person.
Me
But
too.
there's a
I'm
comment
like,
for
oh, I
you.
bought this with points in my credit card.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's Lavender Sky Panther says Cherokee. That happened to me when I was little, when with waking up completely reoriented on the bed. Sounds very much like you are being moved. I only found out recently mine were from ET experiences.
perfect.
That's what I thought of too when she said that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, see, that's validation. Because I was like, where did I go? What did I
Yeah,
do?
yeah,
Well, that's good. I did have an experience one time before where I was just sleeping and my son was making noise and I was about to jump up and run to the room, but something was going on and I could feel it. And I said, oh, sorry, I didn't know you were in there. You're working on me. I gotta move back to where I was. And I was like, that's probably the same thing that
mhm,
happened. I was like,
yeah,
oh, that's so cool. And I wasn't scared. It's just you
yeah,
can feel like I was moved back to where I was like I jumped up and it kind of got out of position. And then when I realized what was going on, I just like it's still pushed back to center. And I was like, okay, that's fine.
yeah,
Thank you for that. Then you wait for it to be done because it seems like everything is like totally silent. I can't explain it. It's like nothing is going on around at all. It's
Yeah.
just quiet. And then when everything got back to whatever, I could do everything again. I just got up and ran because I was like, "Oh, they're done."
Right. Yeah.
You're like, "Okay, you're done." Okay, dog. So, oh my gosh, but I still don't see it. So I don't know if I have like layers and layers and layers on my third eye
Yeah.
because I get my more I can sense clear drops,
Yeah.
but I don't have the vision yet.
Right. That's okay. We, by the way, for those in the audience, uh, Cherokee and I have talked a couple different times, and we decided a better word for download is Claire drop. It works so much better. It fits. So just so you just translate for
Oh,
those
when I said
in the
clear drop,
audience,
sorry.
it makes so much more sense to call it a Claire drop. I love that. Yeah.
Because I was trying to figure out which color it was. I
Yeah.
was like, I just, sometimes I just know things. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that was a clear drop. They just told me this, that. I was like, okay, thank you for that information.
Yeah. 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 And it does. It comes in like lightning in the that doesn't land.
Right.
You can pick it like fruit from a tree, or you can leave it, and that's how they come in. I do feel like that there's more of these available. It's like there's like before it was like every once in a while, and now it's like boom, 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 and we can all choose to accept it or take it or not, and right now I've been having more visitation than I ever did before. That like and the kind of visitation that I'm having is like kind of like what you're talking about at the beginning. And so then
Mhm.
there's this agreement that happens um, energetically, and sometimes I don't even realize I didn't agree until afterward, and then I'm like, oh, But um, most of the time I do. And it has, I think, more to do with my higher self agreeing with
Mhm.
that I'm in the right space, you know. Um, and what's really interesting though is what's happening is then you feel like this suction, like your whole body's being. You always think, I don't know, I always did watching like Star Trek and stuff like that. When they teleport, they break down, all their atoms become small or
Right.
something, and then they
Really?
reappear someplace else. You know, where it actually feels like you're being uh, sucked into a vacuum tube, like your whole body as you're going into this other place. I don't know if it's up or down. I honestly, especially after this last meditation that we did, as we were coming back from Inner Earth, and we went, but the meditation that I posted on Telegram for anyone who is interested in doing it. But we came back from Inner Earth, and as we were coming back to the surface, they're like, and now you're going all the way up, which is actually down. And I was like, I knew it. I freaking knew it. 'Cause my meditations are all channeled. Like I prepare myself. I do voice and intention. This is my intention for this, and it's kind of like a request more than anything else. And then it's channeled. Whatever needs to come through comes through. And this segues to something because we do have to close it up, unfortunately.
Okay.
Sorry that you were until short of a time. I didn't, but is I am doing a love donation base, though that doesn't mean that you can't come if you don't have money. Um, is I'm doing a love donation based group meditation on the solstice. It's the solstice for the northern hemisphere. Oh wait, no, excuse me. That's right. It doesn't matter what hemisphere you're on. The solstice is the same day. So that is Saturday the 21st for us in the northern hemisphere, and Sunday the 22nd for those in the southern hemisphere. Um, and that meditation will start at the time that we normally do group, which is 6:30 Central Time. That's 4:30 Pacific Time. There's a lot of different times. That's 10:30 Eastern Australia AM. Um, and one more thing is in just a little over an hour from now, we are doing a group conversation free. This is a like a normal Friday Zoom meeting that we do every week. Only it's a little earlier, so that way people who are in later time zones can still join instead of having to come at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So that's going to be happening. If anyone is interested in that, the link for that is in the YouTube channel in the community section, as well as in our Telegram group. I always post our links for our meetings. So, and that's also how you'll find the meditation link that we're going to do on the solstice. So, and tomorrow's the 12/12 portal, so I'll probably show up. It's Thursdays are the day that it's the day that I don't shower. Usually, but I'll probably make an appearance. I feel like that if tech is cooperating, I'm probably gonna be doing something. So keep an eye out for that because it is the 12/12 portal after all. So do what you can to ground and just be gentle with yourself, man. Right? Is there any suggestions or anything you'd like to share before we close up this conversation?
It's so busy, like energetically busy. I don't know. I can't think of anything specific right now. But I can't think of anything specific right now.
You said specific when we had been on for 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds. Exactly.
Of course.
That's really cool.
Well, so I guess the message is be specific.
Be specific. Be specific. I don't know why that was part of it. Anyway, thank you so much, Cherokee. I really always appreciate and love your energy. And thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody. I love everybody. Thank you.
Love you all. See you soon.
Talk to you later.